Oh, Kevin, is that better? Audio check. I didn't realize we were having audio issues. I've been chatting away here and hoping everybody could hear me. Waiting on confirmation in chat if audio is good to go. Okay. Awesome. Yay. Didn't realize we were having connection issues there. Apologize for any of that. Here I was talking away the whole time, and nobody could hear me. So, awesome. Well, let's get things kicked off since we're already been waiting here a few minutes. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Kyle, Kevin, and Mecky. Hey, Teresa. If it is you, Teresa, hi. Great to have you join. Really excited for this session today on Shopify for 2025 and beyond. And like I was mentioning when I was on mute, unfortunately, e-commerce SEO is one of my favorite topics, and really a topic I'm excited to share about today. Things are always evolving, but there's always some great winning strategies to help you grow your shop and grow your e-commerce store. Let's get things going here. Quick intro about me. I'm not going to read through this or anything. I'm Michael Patrick Cortez. I'm partner and marketing manager over at Web4. I'm an SEO geek, data geek, digital marketing geek. Love what we do over here at Web4. It gives us a chance to give back to businesses and the community and really make just tons of positive ripple effects by helping grow businesses, helping business owners get through challenges or just grow their business in general, and also positively affecting team members. So really the impact in the digital marketing space is one that's extremely fulfilling and one that I really enjoy a lot because I also get to geek out on SEO and digital marketing and all the stuff I love. So you can read all my info here. But I am, like I mentioned, been over here at Web4 for a little over 5 years and love what we do. We help a ton of different clients across a number of different industries, and e-commerce is one of those spaces that we specialize in. A little bit about Web4. We're an award-winning digital marketing agency, started in 2009. We work with a wide range of amazing clients, from cybersecurity to home improvement and really everything in between. So if you have any questions about digital marketing or just SEO questions in general, feel free to drop us a chat, drop us your questions. We're always happy to answer them or just chat anytime. Also connect with us on socials. Just checking the chat to make sure everything's good to go. Awesome. Well, just from the Web4 crew to everyone joining today, happy holidays. We're extremely excited to have you here. This is one of my favorite shows, The Office, and this is an excellent scene for any of those who haven't seen it. I highly, highly recommend dedicating, a fair chunk of your life to watching the Office series. I think it's an important one. Awesome. Happy holidays. But what are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be reviewing the Shopify wish list. So really 7 core areas you should be focusing on from an e-commerce standpoint, and mostly for Shopify, the Shopify CMS. A lot of these strategies are applicable across e-commerce. So if you have BigCommerce, or if you're using BigCommerce, if you're using a custom CMS, really that doesn't matter. There are only a couple Shopify specific examples because really the overall e-commerce SEO strategy is going to be the same whether you have a BigCommerce store or whether you have a Shopify store. So just keep that in mind there is tons of value whether you're a Shopify owner or just an e-commerce shop owner in general. We even have some clients on the Magento platform, and yes, Magento is still a thing, and yes, these strategies are still applicable. So let's dig on in. First, we're going to look at optimizing your PDPs. What are your PDPs? These are your product detail pages, also known as your product pages. So this is where people are coming really to make that final purchase on your website, right? People are going to land here, whether that's from shopping results, navigating through your site, socials, wherever that is, that referral source, right? And ultimately make the decision to purchase from you or not. So it's really critical that you have a few seconds to not only engage, but also get the user's trust to make them to convince them to make a purchase. So let's take a look at some core things for your product detail pages that you should be looking at, and then we'll look at a few more specific examples. This is a little bit of a long list, so it's a little could be hard to read through. But all of these things, and I'll share the deck after, are really critical when you're looking at your product detail pages. From your persuasive, informative, helpful content to the images and videos you're using, to your trust signals, and even your breadcrumbs or internal linking. These are all critical tactics and optimizations that you want to make sure you're taking advantage of for your users, but also for search engines. You should be ultimately trying to improve your user experience, which at the same time will also improve how you appear in shopping results or in search results for your e-commerce store. A few other examples here of critical things you should be checking off that list for the holiday checklist for Shopify. Your page speed and UX, making sure you're including your returns and refund policy on your product page, and schema, which we'll be talking about this a little bit more because there's been some recent changes here in the e-commerce space. But make sure you're optimizing your product and product group schema, as well as adding urgency and scarcity elements that can convince a user to kind of use some of that psychological marketing to convince a user to ultimately make a buying decision. So let's look at a couple examples of this. So we can see with REI here, some great high quality visual images. This has shown to be have a direct impact on Google shopping results. So Adidas specifically ran a test with their image sizing, and the higher quality images that were used showed a direct correlation with almost doubling their organic traffic from shopping results. So high quality images directly tie to how you're ranking in shopping, in Google Shopping. So make sure when you're building out your e-commerce pages, you're not skipping over using high quality images, even video assets, and things like alternative reality. So they have it like the try before you buy features, the AR features now, or 360 view. So there's a number of spaces. If you look at Amazon, they're a great example of this, that you can be optimizing in different images. Some of them are more costly than others, but the barrier to entry and getting that functionality should be easier and easier and easier for shop owners as more AI tools are introduced and more personalization tools are introduced in the e-commerce space. Next thing we're looking at here is your product descriptions and really your details, your specs, all of the critical information that is valuable for when somebody lands on one of your product detail pages or your product pages. So in the top example, on the top left, we can see the features. This is kind of their product description for REI here. On the right, we can see their technical specs, the bottom size chart, and they even have internal links. Let's go back. They even have internal links to related product lines. So once again, really trying to make the most helpful content for the user, but really optimizing and giving context to search engines when they land on this page. What is this page about? What type of product are you selling? What are the specs? And trying to feed as much information as possible for both search engines and the user. Kind of accomplishing two goals at once. Another example we're going to look at here is reviews. We can see with REI, they do an excellent example, and they even bring in some social elements here. And the top here, we can see aggregate rating, hundreds of your reviews, almost 1,000 reviews with 4.5 star. And down at the bottom here, we can see even kind of UGC content, user-generated content here being pulled in with the actual photos of users who are wearing this product, and then more specific reviews of why they like this product and an overall consensus on the product or sentiment on the product in general. So you can see REI is doing an excellent example here at their reviews. That also ties into your schema markup optimization. So aggregate rating schema, review schema. You can get rich results from this, which can increase click-through rates. So definitely something you should not be skipping when you're optimizing your product detail pages, and a critical element of e-commerce SEO in general. Also, social proofing, number of elements going on here that you should, that are definitely a benefit of reviews. As we talked about, product schema, really a different type of schema, just something Google is beta testing right now, but is definitely going to be something they're rolling out. They have it on the latest Google developer documentation. Product group schema is the latest schema to come out for product pages. And this is actually a much better schema type for your product pages, especially for product variants. As you can see here, this one product page may have 12 or 20 or 30 or 40 different variant types, and therefore 30 or 40 different product types. Before, with the old schema, you only had product, which represented one single product, and you could kind of show that there was offers for other variants. That technically wasn't right semantically or in a structured data viewpoint. So this new product group schema just came out a couple months ago, is really valuable, and we've seen a tremendous result increasing merchant listing results, which directly ties to Google Shopping optimization. So make sure you're building in the product group schema into your SEO strategy. That, especially if you have variants on your site, like different colors, different size options, really any type of variants, this is going to build a more robust and more complete schema set for Google to ultimately better understand what you're selling, all the different variants, and surface those better in search results. So definitely something to research. If you have questions about product group schema, please feel free to drop us a line, and we'll be happy to get back to you, answer any questions you have. All right, a few examples there for your product description pages. Now we're going to look at kind of a list of your product listing pages, which would be on Shopify, your collection pages, or on another platform, maybe your category pages. Depends on how you have your architecture built out, right? But let's take a look at your holiday shopping list for your product listing pages. There are some similar overlap here, of course, to the product detail pages with creating engaging content. And then there's also some important things that are specific to this space from an e-commerce standpoint that you should be optimizing around, like your faceted nav and your product filtering. That's huge, not only for user experience, but also can impact SEO in a number of ways, both positively and negatively. So something you have to be monitoring from a technical standpoint and a user experience standpoint, as well as some of the other kind of more technical things on here, making sure your pagination or infinite scroll is following best practices. You're not creating duplicate content on your pagination, something that's kind of common with Shopify. And there are some quick fixes for that. Using your item list schema to mark up your product listing pages, and then kind of some of the, kind of a deeper strategy here that directly ties to the impacts and rankings for your collection pages or your PLPs, building content silos around topics and themes. That can have a positive impact in a number of ways, not only for your EAT signals for Google, like your expertise, experience, authority and trust, all those things, but also your rankings and getting users into your funnel or web searchers into your funnel and ultimately getting them down the funnel to make a purchase decision from you. And of course, addressing Shopify's common duplicate content issues with PLP pages. Here's a couple examples. REI, once again, I do love their SEO strategy in number of spaces, and especially this top one, something I've been preaching for years. They're testing this now, which is really exciting to see. I'm sure they're seeing some positive ranking results from it. Making sure you're optimizing your internal linking from your PLP pages. So in the top here, we can see they're linking to relevant either subcategories or relevant categories related to the current category we're looking at. So we're looking at the hiking footwear category, and we can see they have internal links to their men's hiking footwear page, women's hiking footwear, kids, and ones on sale, as well as over on the left, they have subcategories and categories linked up specifically. So this is extremely valuable from an architecture perspective and an internal linking perspective, maximizing your internal linking throughout the site, as well as making it easier for Google to navigate the site, and can positively have a pretty major impact on rankings. So faceted nav, like we'll talk about in a minute, is critical, and we talked about that a little bit before. But also internal links from these category pages to other related category pages can have a huge impact on rankings. Internal linking is so critical in e-commerce SEO. And looking here, we were just talking about faceted nav. We can see great example by REI of different ways users can sort and filter to different products. Do you need wide shoes? What size, brand, features? And there are a lot more functionality as far as sorting and filtering that REI has in their faceted nav. So when you're building out your faceted nav on Shopify or any e-commerce store, make sure you're building out filters and filters that make sense for your users. So don't have non-relevant filters or drop downs here, and make sure that they align with how users are searching. So if users search for wide shoes or regular shoes, or maybe they search for mids or highs or lows, as long as reinforcing how users are searching and then basically building out your faceted nav around that data is kind of critical to connect the dots here. And to make sure that you're giving a great user experience, but that also can have a positive impact on SEO. So faceted nav is pretty critical. And then this seems like a lot of content, and I'd probably say it is a lot of content for a PLP page, but this is Shopify or REI's example here. You can see they have extremely robust content, really with pretty heavy internal linking to either other collection pages or resources. They appear to be testing their product listing page descriptions, because some pages have FAQ style, some pages don't. So if you go to their PLPs, they vary from one page to the next, but this is a great example of detailed content that's going to positively impact yourself in search rankings, as well as in with the user to find related content, to get the information they need to answer their questions. And I do recommend having both a description and FAQs. I think that maximizes your opportunity to rank your collection pages highly in search results, and definitely a best practice. So something to keep in mind here, this is at the bottom of their product listing pages. REI, keep saying Shopify, does not have this at the very top, and then all the products are way down here. This is at the bottom of the PLP page. I would not recommend putting that chunk of content at the top. I could see it having a huge negative impact on search results not search results, but user experience, and ultimately, users bouncing, which could negatively impact your search results. As we know, Google is actively tracking things like bounce and things like that to, rank you in search. So yes, put this at the bottom if possible with your PLP. If not, you can always put like a shorter blurb up top, at least give some context to Google about, or other search engines, all search engines, right? About, what this page is about. Some is better than none. But the best solution is if you could have a little blurb up top and then have your template build out, similar to REI here, what we do with some of our e-commerce clients, build out the actual PLP template to have content below the product, so you're not impacting user experience in any way negatively. All right, internal linking, the third item on our wish list today. Once again, just some best practices here, kind of a list of best practices for you to follow. Like I said, I will send this deck out after. But make sure you're fixing your duplicate product page linking with Shopify. This is Shopify specific. We'll look at an example of that in a moment. This is such a kind of maddening one from an e-commerce perspective, and definitely one that's something you want to address right out the gate if you're building a Shopify store, or if you haven't addressed some of these technical internal linking things, some you want to circle back on. There are quick fixes to address some of these issues, but definitely one that impacts your search experience and your search rankings. So fixing your duplicate product page linking, adding breadcrumbs is a big win for both navigation, user experience, but overall architecture and being able to crawl the site for search engines, but also for users being able to navigate the site in a way that makes sense. If they want to hop back to a brand page or to a collection page, breadcrumbs makes that really easy for users and is definitely a huge win from an SEO perspective. I'm also a huge proponent or recommender of this. Optimizing your internal linking from your homepage to your PLPs and PDPs. Make sure you have your top product listing pages linked up on your homepage, as well as your top product detail pages. This can cycle at times, depending on if you're running different campaigns or seasonality, whatever the case may be. But making sure you have internal linking and optimization to those top collections and those top product pages that you want to drive traffic to, that can have a huge impact on rankings. There's a couple reasons for that. Google values the homepage as like the most important page on the site, which makes sense. But homepages tend to have tons of internal linking to them. They also tend to have tons of backlinks to them and get tons of traffic. So having links for your users from your homepage to your PLPs and PDPs makes sense for user experience, but also has a huge impact, once again, on your rankings. So kind of all going back to your organic strategy there, making sure you're including links for your PLPs to your PLPs and PDPs from your homepage. I'll skip the next one, but including related products or personalization, that's a excellent way on your sorry, got thrown off for a second there. Including related products or personalization, that is an excellent way to just really show users products they're looking for. There's all sorts of AI integrations now that provide that functionality, all sorts of apps on the Shopify side, and definitely a user experience benefit that you should be taking advantage of, because ultimately, trying to understand your users, serve personalized results, that's kind of a trend that's just going to become more and more prevalent as we move on in e-commerce, as AI tools take over more and have more capabilities. We're going to really see personalized products and personalized funnels and really just an improved user experience overall from this more custom functionality we can build in. Awesome. And link your related PDPs and PLPs from logs. That seems like a no-brainer, but definitely something that you want to make sure you're doing, both to get users down that funnel, right? Maybe they're at the top of the funnel with like how to choose a snowboard, and then you're able to kind of get them into those buying stages from linking up a snowboard collection page for maybe they want all-terrain snowboards or, whatever the case may be, beginner snowboards. You can get users further and further down that buying journey just from something as simple as linking your PDPs and PLPs, and you're optimizing for SEO at the same time. So kind of a double win there. A couple examples here. One from Nike. We could see on their homepage, they have some core categories linked. I think you could do something better from a design perspective. I was kind of disappointed with Nike's how their store looks for e-commerce this year, but they know what they're doing. So you see there some of their top categories linked here: clothing, tops, shorts. This is all passing SEO equity. Or some of the old kind of SEO terminology, SEO link juice to these pages. Not one I'm a fan of, but and once again, some of their popular products here, the Air Jordan 1s, Dunks, they're passing that SEO equity or that link juice to these pages through internal linking from the homepage. And like I mentioned in Shopify, this is what you do not want to have happen in here. So you could check your store right now. So if you hover over one of your products in your Shopify store and you see something like this, you have a problem that is a quick fix, but something you definitely want to address from a technical SEO perspective. What's going on here is you're actually linking to a duplicate product page, and this duplicate product page is a non-indexable product page. So rather than linking to an indexable product page from your collection, you are linking to a non-indexable page and basically losing all SEO value in that internal link, and also creating potential confusion in search engines and in Google Search Console and crawling with, passing an internal link to a non-indexable page. You'll see an error come up in Google Search Console for this that you need to address. And there's a quick fix by adding a code snippet or adjusting some code snippets in the theme liquid file in Shopify. If you have questions about how to do that, feel free to drop a line, scan the QR code up top, and I'll have some QR codes at the end. I'm happy to pass you the edited codes. Now, each theme's a little different here, so there's not necessarily one general one. But I can give you some recommendations on that. But this is a kind of the first thing you want to be fixing for any Shopify store right out of the gate. You want to make sure you're linking to the indexable product pages, passing all SEO value to that, passing as much SEO value to your product pages as possible. Awesome. Okay, let's keep going here. Time check. So, all right. Yeah, I gotta run. I mentioned this before, kind of a big deal to me because I've been preaching this for all e-commerce clients for a couple of years. Linking your related category pages, not filters or anything like that, parameters. Link your actual category pages from the top of your collection pages, related category pages. This can have a huge impact on rankings. There was a recent SEO test that showed, I think, a 20% correlation, a positive correlation as far as ranking increases from this one single change. So that's just a small example of how big of a deal internal linking is for your e-commerce SEO strategy. All right, one of my favorite ones here for Shopify, because there just seems to be so many out of the box, but this is my holiday wish list for everyone out there. It's Shopify owner. Fix common technical issues. Once again, a lot to take in here, but it's because Shopify does tend to have a lot of technical issues right out of the gate that you just need to address. So things like fixing your duplicate product page linking on collection pages. We just went into that a little bit. I'll kind of circle back to that in a minute. Cleaning up your duplicate content issues from tag pages. That's something that's very common with Shopify. Once again, some we'll look at in a second here. Duplicate category pages in pagination. Also something we'll I'm not sure I include a slide for that, but if you have questions, obviously circle back with me and happy to answer those. Another common one is JavaScript rendered content. Google is getting better at reading JavaScript content, but unfortunately, they're not great at it. And a lot of Shopify themes rely on JavaScript a little too much, like all the content disappears if you turn it off. So that's not a good look. Makes it much harder for Google to discover. You should have your content in the pre-rendered HTML, served in the pre-rendered HTML, and make it as easy as possible for Google to grab your content. They're becoming more and more, they're limiting crawl budget more and more as the web gets bigger and bigger, and they have only so much crawl budget to allocate. So making sure you're minimizing your request size and not relying too much on JS is a huge deal from an SEO perspective. And really, the bottom one, I'm going to circle that one, addressing your crawling and indexing issues in GSC, Google Search Console, as well as cleaning up things in, SEMrush or Ahrefs, Ahrefs, however you prefer to say it, whatever your SEO tools are. GSC really is critical in understanding, crawl errors, crawl issues, and how to optimize crawling or fix what crawling errors need to be fixed that Google's running into. So let's take a look at a couple examples of this. First example, pop chart here. On the top left, we can see, all their content served, rendered, looks really nice. But after you turn off JavaScript in the bottom right here, we can see pretty much all of that content disappear. That does make it harder for Google to be able to crawl this. Basically, how crawling and rendering and all of these work is there's phases. So Google crawls that raw HTML, and then there is basically another pass that happens to get JavaScript content, render that JavaScript content. So ideally, you should be passing all HTML and all relevant content initially, and not having, heavy reliance on JavaScript like we're seeing here with PopChart. That can have a negative impact on your SEO. There are some extensions out there. If you can also disable JavaScript through your inspect tool, so however you prefer to do it. But if you toggle JavaScript off, refresh the site, and you see something like this, or you see a blank page, then your current theme relies heavily on JavaScript. There's ways to either switch to a different theme or use some sort of dynamic rendering to ultimately address this issue. If you want to chat more about this, let me know. Drop us a line. And like I was mentioning, one of those common Shopify issues that Shopify loves are your tagged pages. So these can create duplicate collection pages that ultimately kind of waste crawl budget and can create confusion with non-canonical URLs and a number of things. So making sure you're cleaning up your tagged URLs, your duplicate collection page URLs in Shopify is critical to optimizing rankings for those core collection pages and making sure you're not creating confusion in search engines. And we just talked about this one, but I have in here again, once again, fix this duplicate content issue, duplicate internal linking for these collection pages. You can redirect these, but you can also add a snippet to your theme.liquid file to just have this link go directly to your product pages. It is an easy fix and definitely one that should be cleaned up from a technical perspective. And you can see a few things here. This is a Google Search Console example. So, you can see that error we've been talking about, alternate page with proper canonical tag. So basically, Google's discovering internal links to the wrong page and saying, hey, there's another page here that should have this internal link. This page isn't indexable. This canonical tag is pointing to a different page. So these are things, and you can see in this example, there's almost 500,000 to clean up. So this can be a heavy lift, right? But these are important critical errors from a crawling indexing perspective. If you want to get your content indexed in Google search results, in Google Shopping, cleaning up your crawling reports in Google Search Console is a critical step to that. One moment here. All right. Time check again, because I know we're doing okay, I think. I have a couple more sections to run through, but we're almost there. Google Shopping. How could I do an e-commerce webinar and not talk about Google Shopping? Well, this is a pretty critical one for e-commerce shops, shop owners, right? Really, shopping results are becoming more and more prevalent. They're coming into AI overviews. They're even, bringing Google Shopping ads into AI overviews. So optimizing your store is going to have both a positive impact on your organic shopping results, but can also have a positive impact on your Google ads for Google Merchant Center. So if you're running any sort of shopping campaigns, Performance Max, that's what I was thinking, PMax. If you're running PMax campaigns or other shopping campaigns, these optimizations will also have a positive impact on that from feed optimization, a number of things we'll talk about. All right, here is your holiday shopping list or checklist for Google Shopping and optimizing your shop for Google Shopping. So first thing, making sure you're creating Merchant Center and a feed for Merchant Center. If you haven't done that already, do that right now. That's very important and directly tied to your visibility in Google Shopping results. So make sure you have your Merchant Center account created and you have your feed set up and you have those syncing on a regular basis. One of the big things here, and this is just kind of a general statement, maximize your quality score around Google Shop inside Google Merchant Center. So you can get badges if you rank, if you get a top store badge, if your store quality is very high. There's a number of things that the store quality is directly tied to, from returns to delivery time to just overall optimization of your product pages and your shopping feed. But there's also a number of other things that are in there that you want to be optimizing the metrics around that can help you earn a top quality score badge. That helps you appear better in shopping results. But you also got a nice fancy badge that is a huge trust signal from a user experience perspective. So really looking at Merchant Center on a regular basis, looking at your quality score, your store quality score, and then doing what you can to optimize that quality score and get that top quality score badge is a big one. Regular QAing of your feed for errors and warnings. If you're seeing errors in your feed, it's going to prevent your products from showing up in Google Shopping. So addressing those feed errors, whether there's a G10 error, I think we have a screenshot coming up in a second on an example here, whether that's a G10 error or, you're missing like your colors, or maybe you're missing, pricing or pricing's incorrect, whatever the feed errors or warnings are, running through those and optimizing your shop will then be able to fix those feed errors and, get your products indexed and ultimately get your products in front of the audience that wants to buy them. So a pretty critical step there. And overall feed optimization, making sure you're not only getting the required elements in there, but you're also getting optional fields like Google product category. I think it's category, but don't quote me on that. I don't have the list top of mind right now. But there's a bunch of optional fields that you should be optimizing around that can, the more information you're going to give Google as far as, what type of product is, what the actual Google product taxonomy is, that's going to help them better understand, okay, this product should show up when somebody searches for this. This is X type of product. So definitely something that you'll want to do continued optimization around and make sure you build out your feed as much as possible. A newer thing in Google Merchant Center, adding promotions in Merchant Center. That can be a great way to, once again, get nice fancy badges that stand out in search results and get extra visibility when people are searching for specific products or specific discounts. I think it's been out a while, but they've recently released some updates to the promotions field, and it has showed some direct correlation with impacts in Google Shopping. So definitely an area to be paying attention to, especially if you run discounts, especially right now if you're running holiday discounts or anything like that. Make sure you have those set up inside your Merchant Center account. Optimizing structured data for your merchant listings. We're going to talk about that. I have a slide on that here. We already talked about product group schema. That's really the schema that you will do that with. But we'll chat about that in a second here. And like I mentioned, some of those metrics that they're tracking: shipping, returns, overall purchase experience. So those are those metrics you want to be optimizing to ultimately get you that top store quality badge. So definitely a big win. And then optimizing your PDPs in general. So the more information you put into your PDPs, like we were talking about earlier, with very detailed descriptions, specs, your title tag optimization, really all your meta description optimization, just your baseline SEO stuff, right? A lot of that plays a direct role in your Google feed, because that's what's being sent in the feed to Google Merchant Center, which directly impacts your rankings in Google Shopping results. So definitely something you want to pay attention to. Your PDPs are so critical to your appearance and your rankings for Google Shopping. Here's an example of a top quality score badge. So down here, right below this, which I don't have a screenshot of, but you can see, where you score as far as returns, where you score as far as delivery time, overall store, not overall store quality, but like customer experience, overall customer experience, and some other metrics that are being tracked. And all of those metrics play a role into you earning this top quality score badge, which gives you a nice fancy badge in Google Shopping results. So, and as it says here, directly plays into ranking higher in Google Shopping results. So make sure you're maximizing your opportunity there. And like we mentioned, also plays a role in ads, because Merchant Center has both ads and free listing results. And here's some of those errors we were talking about. Mismatched product price, invalid G10s. In this case, there's some issues with overcapacity for shopping ads, so too much information in the shopping feed, and some others. Errors can prevent you, like this one right here, invalid G10s, will prevent your product from showing up in Google Shopping. It makes them ineligible to show up in Google Shopping. So these are the errors you want to be addressing, and QAing these on a regular basis to make sure that you don't have a bunch of errors that are completely impacting your store and you're not visible in shopping results at all, and that all your top products, the ones you want to get in front of customers, are showing up here and aren't showing up there, and there's no errors. Like we talked about a little bit, the product group schema, the new schema type Google's testing, has shown huge impacts on Merchant Center listings, where you can see, instead of one product being marked up, you can see, like in this example, there's 12 products or whatever. This is how you want to make sure your product schema is marked up, using product group with the sub products and the different offers. And that has shown, that's not this slide, but I'll show you a slide in a moment that has shown a huge impact overall to e-commerce shopping results. So for merchant listings, which directly ties into Google Shopping. Awesome. So let's move on to schema markup. I think we have 2 sections left. Cross my fingers because we're running close on time. So I'm going to try to fly through this. So here's this different schema types. So I'm going to go through some of the important ones, but these are all different things. You want to make sure you're optimizing your Shopify or e-commerce store around, organization, about page, contact page, do I left it off, product group, FAQ, video, breadcrumb schema, item list schema, and your traditional things to, help kind of build some eat signals, article, author, person schema. For your home page, that's where you're going to want to make sure you're marking up your organization schema. With advanced schema techniques, you can link your organization schema with the ad ID to another schema block. So you want to make sure on the other pages you're linking with your ad ID to your main organization schema block to kind of create that structured data or that connected data graph that you want to be building, or that knowledge graph you want to build for SEO. On the about page, it pretty much is self-explanatory, but it's about page schema, making sure you're marking up team members, information about the brand. That's really an important part of just, establishing those EAT signals for Google, building that, that trust, but also helping them see you as the expert, and, all of that good stuff. So, product detail pages, we've talked about this a bit, and I'll have right now I have a few deeper images into some of those ranking correlations that we've seen so far. But product detail pages, your PDPs, you want to have your product group schema, which has product schema nested under it. And here's an example of one of our clients that we've recently rolled out a product group schema for. Mid-November, we rolled it out. They had about 84 merchant listing results, which is basically products inside Google Shopping, right? Showing inside Google Shopping from our feed or from our schema. And after implementing the product group schema, we saw, the number here is probably like a 600% increase in merchant center listings, because we went from 80 to about 555. So 600 or 700% increase in merchant center listings, which has also had a direct impact on merchant center clicks from shopping results and product results. So pretty awesome. And if you're a Shopify product owner, this schema is so easy to add. So really, this is a Shopify filter that is really great because you're using the core Shopify functionality. You don't have to build out, custom schema blocks and then use dynamic values to make sure you're getting all the right values in the right places. You can literally add this one schema block right here. This is the whole thing to your theme liquid file. Make sure you add an if statement basically to only appear on your PLP on your PDP pages. You could also add it as a snippet file and then call that in from the theme liquid file. But this will automatically implement product group schema like we've been talking about, and you will see a direct, almost instantaneous impact inside Google Search Console for your merchant listing results. This is critical if you have products with variants. So if you have products with different sizes, colors, any of that stuff, make sure you are QAing and optimizing your product group schema for e-commerce. All right, product listing pages. So on your product listing pages, you want to make sure you're using your item list schema. There is collection schema, but item list is the preferred schema for collection pages at the moment, or for your collections or category pages at the moment. So make sure you're marking up your product listing pages with your item list schema, indicating the different products that are available on that page. All right. Time check here. Okay, I think we're going to be just at time, maybe have time for one QA, but I may try to speed through this here. So hopefully I don't go too fast. Just one moment. And something, we're going to be chatting content strategy. I guess I kind of jumped over the previous slide, but we're going to be chatting content strategy, the final item on our holiday wish list for your Shopify or e-commerce store this year. And the checklist that we're going to be going through, really, we'll see some of the core ones here, but really all focusing around building your EAT. This is something I do see a lot of Shopify stores miss. REI is a great example of this, of how they maximize this. You can see really extremely robust repository of beneficial content for their audience. How to choose snowboards, how to choose snowboard bindings, and the list goes on and on. But not only are they building those pages out, they're also linking those relevant related expert articles on their PDP pages, or on their PLP pages and their PDP pages. So there's ways to maximize the internal linking and also the SEO ranking and your user experience through this content strategy, really building out a content strategy for your e-commerce store. So building up your e-signals, that's really done through all of the things to kind of follow. But developing high quality guides for your core categories. Google is showing e-commerce guides in AI overviews, in search. Users are asking top of funnel, middle of funnel questions, tofu, mofu questions about, best running shoes, best snowboard for beginners. And you want to make sure you're maximizing your opportunity to first bring that awareness to your brand at the top of funnel, and then hopefully send them further down the funnel. So developing high quality guides for your core categories, and then internally linking those back to your PDPs and your PLPs like we have here below. That's definitely a critical part of building some of those EAT factors and ultimately having Google trust you as an expert or an authority on the topic. And we have validated Google's looking at topic authority, right? They're assessing your quality of your of all the content that you're building out, and really using a number of NLP and machine learning to better understand what you're a topic expert at. So that's been validated through recent leaks and things like that, or at least most SEOs would agree it's been validated through recent leaks. But it's very critical, just as critical for e-commerce as it is for somebody in the home improvement space or somebody in the SaaS space, or really whatever industry you're looking at, right? And really using an omni-focused marketing strategy, right? Making sure you're leveraging your social media, your PR to maximize the visibility of your content, maximize the visibility of your brand, right? Getting authoritative backlinks or citations throughout the web can have a major impact on building your brand, which has a major impact on building your rankings, because Google's looking more and more at brand. So make sure we're not focusing just on the organic. Make sure you're showing up where your audience is. If your audience is on TikTok, I highly recommend being on TikTok, or maybe they're on Blue Sky or Threads, LinkedIn. All depends what type of industry you have, but make sure you're regularly engaging, regularly posting, and you're maximizing your brand visibility as much as possible. Building funnels. So we've talked about that a little bit, but making sure you're building your guides to ultimately get them down to that next question that they're going to ask in that funnel, to get them down to that next question they're going to ask in that funnel, to ultimately get them to make a buying decision, and giving them internal links and just a great user experience along the way that helps them navigate down that funnel. So build out your funnel. All about improving user experience. I think last year I had a whole section on user experience things to test, cart abandonment. That's a huge one. There's been some recent studies on the amount of cart abandonment, and that's literally, improving your cart abandonment, just percentage points, can have a huge impact on your bottom line. So really all your user experience elements are critical. We recommend Microsoft Clarity or some other, any heat mapping tool, user tracking tool, as well as other things like user testing, just to make sure you're optimizing your PLPs, your PDPs, your homepage, and you're not giving a bad user experience. Users aren't clicking somewhere and not getting where they want, or users can't find the content they want. Pretty critical. And then overall topic research ties directly into the high quality guides you're creating, the sub articles you're creating to build to support that guide, and kind of the overall topic clusters you're building for that strategy. Awesome. Just Google's release of EAT, they added an E. It's a double EAT, or I just kind of elongate and call it an EAT. But however you want to say it, they added the experience recently, which seen a pretty positive correlation with indicating your firsthand experience in things like blogs, or kind of giving that specifically, showing that you have firsthand experience, or somebody related to the article has firsthand experience with the product or with this experience. That's really something Google's monitoring from the EAT perspective to make sure that you're maximizing the signals they're looking at, on top of the old ones, experience, authority, experience, expertise, authority, and trust. Awesome. Like I was talking about, guides for core themes. This is an example of AI overviews for best running shoes. You can see some different guides here. You want to make sure you're building those guides so you're capturing them at the top of funnel to ultimately get them further down the funnel to make a purchasing decision from you. Kind of the funnel we're talking about here, this top of funnel, and then ultimately get them to make a purchase decision at the bottom here. And then your topic research. There's some great tools out there, some freemium tools, free tools. People also ask, and others, that look at people. People also ask results in Google search, and other sources, to really understand what are users actually searching, what should you be creating content around, and then you can execute and build that robust content that's going to attract tons of potential clients or customers for your business. Awesome. And with that, where are we at? 11:01, 1 over. Okay, I did not do too bad there. We are at time. I do not see any questions in the chat. I will hang around for a second. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Thank you for joining the webinar. Like I said, you feel free to pop a question in the chat if you have one right now. If you don't, please get in touch with us via social or our website. You can scan the QR code if you have any questions. Thank you for joining us today. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to everyone from the Web4 crew. And yeah, have a great week, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you in January for another fun webinar. Bye.